This is the knitting news from Knit Happens Teeside for the 42nd week of 2025. The other night at knitting, Helen was working on her shawl, which is finished and could be finished, but she's decided that the little chevron edges needed tidying up. And actually, when she did a crocheted edge along one of them, it did look neater. So all the ends that are there already, she's using them to neaten up the edge. Jill was working on socks. Now, you know the carry on with the red last week. She has gone back and then she's got the lace border. And she's worked the lace so far down, and she has worked the armhole, and she's about that far down from the armhole, but I do think that she's maybe rather had enough of that project. So she's having a little bit of a break from it, and she's making some socks. I think they're Christmas socks. She's making these with Starcraft Head Over Heels, which is 73% wool. It's 25% polyamide and 2% polyester. The sparkle is absolutely lovely. We really did like well, she did tell us the shades, but you can soon work them out if you go and have a look. The only thing was, I was trying to get a really nice picture of it because it's got this sparkle through it. And I did look on the websites and I didn't find a good picture that really captured it with the sparkle showing. And I did think that the blue tones, the bluey greens, were nicer because the sparkle through it was kind of like a bluey green colour. And then it would have been nice if the pinky tones, the pink and purpley tones, could have had pink or purpley sparkle through it. That was what I was thinking, but you know, that's just my my finicky brain. Anyway, she's making socks with a cable down for a change instead of doing the like a vanilla sock. And yeah, very nice. Michael came. He came back. I thought we might have scared him off because you never know, do you, what people like, group-wise. But he did seem very comfortable the first week, chatting along, and we chatted about all sorts this week, absolutely all sorts. Couldn't repeat it here. So he has, like last week when he came, he'd made so much of a scarf in black chunky. He's crocheting. And he's chosen really lovely colours. He said they're the colours of things he wears and they kind of go with his lounge as well, but hopefully his house won't be that cold that he'll have to wear it indoors. He didn't say that, I'm saying that. Hasn't he done well? To be honest, I haven't done a great deal during the week, but I did have my baby knitting with me. In keeping with this theme for this week, this is Rose Blush. It's quite nice. I've never tried it before. It's one of those herbal infusions, you know. Anyway, you don't need that much slurping. I need to put it somewhere where it won't make a mark. I'll put it on this pink book. Right, so I'll show you my baby knitting. I can show you this as well, actually. because the calendar, if you're ordering a calendar, I think you can order, I don't know if you can order it just for a digital copy if you're in the UK or anywhere that's not the USA. I think USA and Canada maybe you can order the hard copy of it, and you will get the pattern for my scarf, which is kind of a cowl scarf, which I showed you last week thoroughly. But you can get, you know, if a cowl was too baggy, this would be like, you could have this as tight or as loose as you like, and as plain or as, we do it tight and then we go and we tie a big bow, and with it being 2 threads of mohair, I haven't worn it yet, it's not cold enough. I don't know if daughter will wear it, it might be too scratchy. Maybe 2 lots of mohair gives it a bit of structure, so you can look like a very boy kind of person, which I'm not particularly. But some people love bows, don't they? Anyway, I'll probably use it or gift it. I don't know who to. Right, cut that bit. My baby knitting. It's a Sublime pattern, and it's the envelope neck sweater. And you can see I've got my envelope neck sort of pinned together. I have been sewing it and I've got one side stitched, but you have to mark where your shoulder seam is, because that's where the middle of your sleeve will go also. The back is slightly higher than the front and it goes that way, so this is the back and I'm showing you the front there. So that's alright, isn't it? We've got 2 sleeves. I made 2 sleeves yesterday, so when I get a chance to do some knitting, I'm away with it. I'm just into my second skein, so it is over 100 grams. So the pattern on them is almost symmetrical, isn't it? Isn't that bizarre? It's just how it worked out. I'll have to decide which way I'm putting them on. And she's been playing a tambourine this week. Right, this is what I might be working with this week. Well, I ought to make some pumpkins because I've been talking about it, but I haven't done any yet. I've also spun a sort of a beigey colour, like a warm beige, and then I had a little bit of each left when I'd plied them, so I've plied that little bit together, and then today I put them all around my niddy noddy, and they're drying at the moment, so I can't show you. But I did look out of the window at the back, and one of them had jumped from the area onto a cherry tree, and it was drying there instead. I didn't think it was that windy, but it just must have caught it. I've got a rotary area that goes round, so it must have gone and then like caught the thing. Daisy's been quite entertaining this week. She found a snake. Oh, she thought she had. Well, it gave her quite a lot of entertainment, and me too. And also Lottie, you can see Lottie in the background, she's watching. Lottie keeps trying to play with Daisy, and Roxy keeps trying to lick her. I am wearing lace cardigan, another one that's got an original name. I've got a few lace cardigans, and it's by Simona Merchant Dest, and it is on that site, you know, and it's available in a few different places, so if you wanted to make it, you'd be able to find it. It's got quite an interesting pattern on it that I think was a little bit tricky, just where shaping came and things like that, but you can see it works really well with the armhole, with the raglan shape, and it lines up to that, so it needs to be right. And then we've got this sort of chevron here, so it's in a 4-ply, and I had enough because it's a 3/4 sleeve, so it's a mid, sort of in betweeny season sort of thing, isn't it? I had enough for a little shawlette. What I have been doing today, well, it's raining now, I don't know if you can hear it, but I have not been to a graveyard. Just hasn't happened, and I did think, well, we've got one not that far away, I could go there, couldn't I, and show you that. I haven't been there for a while. So I decided I was going to have a pink bathroom, and I had a tin full of pink paint, but it was something I'd bought because it was a bargain, and it was kitchen and bathroom. Actually, was it a bargain? I can't remember. I did buy it thinking I'd have a pink kitchen, which I didn't. The kitchen's sort of a boring beige, so I got this tin of pink paint out, and I thought, well, it's too pale and it's too pink. So my daughter came down, and she was laughing because I was mixing paint in the corner of the kitchen with a piece of bamboo. I put a load of red paint in it to try and get it a little bit more pink, but then it went to pink, and she was laughing at me mixing this paint. She says, "You're like a naughty kid, you know, when you find a kid doing something they shouldn't be doing in the corner." Anyway, I said, "It needs yellow." She said, "Yellow?" I said, "Yes, yellow." Yellow. So I gave my husband a little job to do, and I asked him to go into the garage and find me some yellow paint. Now, we had some yellow chalk paint, which I haven't used, but we had half a tin of very dried out paint that was kind of a yellowy beigey colour. So I've added a load of that to it. And I said to her, "It's like the colour of that mug, you know, the inside of your mug." And she looked at it and she said, "Yeah, you're good at this, aren't you?" So I knew it needed a bit of yellow. So I chugged some out of it, so there was some space. Do you ever do this? I'm so like specific about the colour that I want to paint a wall that, like yesterday, I was going to paint the bathroom and I really could not be bothered because it wasn't the right colour. I said, when I've got the right colour, I'll feel inspired, because it's a bit of a job, isn't it, moving everything. Dare I? I dare. I just want to see what the yellow does to the pink, because I want more of a sort of a tinge of a coral, less false tooth pink. That's took the edge off a bit. Definitely took the edge off a bit. So, should I pour some of this into that one, because that's my main tin. I have nothing to lose. This is an old one, and that one I bought because it was reduced. Should thicken it up a bit. That's the colour I'm aiming for. So definitely needs more yellow, orange, or even sort of a brown putting in it. So let's just top it up with this, because I have no plans for it. I can't think even what I did paint with it. Leave a bit of space to do something else with it. Look at that. So I've messed about with that today and spilt it all down my favourite t-shirt, which I have not got any footage or pictures of because I quickly whipped it off and had to get the paint out. I think I've got most of it out. So that wasn't very good, but I think I've got the right pink. Now our bathroom was really pale, and it was a very pale sort of lilac-y shade, really pale. Felt cold, you know, in winter when you get out of the bath. It's just not cosy, it's too bright in there. So I wanted it to be a warmer colour and cosier, and I think that's why I've gone for the pink. So I'm thinking like old-fashioned sort of pink. Anyway, I'll show you. I don't know what you think of that. Lottie has had a haircut and it's quite dramatic. She looks like she's been put in the washing machine and shrunk. I think she's a lot happier. The problem was I couldn't find their coats, and she's the kind of dog that you don't want to get wet, because if they get wet they just knot. So she had knots everywhere, so it was a bit of a job. It took me about an hour and a half with scissors, because if she's knotty you can't get the shears through, and have to like pull knots apart and things and try and get the blade of the scissors through knots so that it doesn't hurt her. And it just seems a better cut. I do it with the scissors than with the shears. So that's how I do hair. That could be about it. So more news, maybe next week. One on the left keeps trying to drink the seawater.
went to Oldham, got some yarn.